After Big Wheel, it was, if I remember correctly, Done You Wrong?
After Hold My Beer. Yeah.
The Wait was before?
The Wait
was the last song.
No, The Wait was, I believe, supposed... Can I see the list?
Yeah.
I've kind of lost track.
Warm Safe Place, Done You Wrong.
I think it was Warm Safe Place right after. That's right, because we said
we
have to release something slow to give people an idea of it's not just always a party. It's about being serious and having a story to tell as well, and showing a different side to me.
So what's the story on Warm Safe Place? Who'd you write it with?
We didn't write that song. That was written by a couple of Nashville guys. That as soon as I heard the demo of that, Tom McKillop played it for me, for us, and thought that's a super
It's
cool
just
song.
a natural, great ballad.
And how did that one do at radio?
Did really well. Actually, we've had, ever since Something Going On Here, I forget what single it was, but they've all gone top 10. Everything's gone top 10 in Canada.
Nice.
So it did phenomenal. Yeah. And then following Warm Safe Place was The Wait.
Well, let's talk about that one for a second. Sure. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, that's a very famous song by the band. I think Robbie Robertson technically. Yeah. I know there's been a lot of fighting within the band about who wrote that song. Okay. And I know I've read some interview with Levon Helm sort of basically taking shots at Robbie Robertson that, we all wrote them and he got all the credit and blah, 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 blah. And then there's also a lot of funny speculation about what that song's about.
Yes.
I don't know what you've heard.
Just check it out on the internet. There's
so many different versions of...
I've heard, it's funny, it's one of my favorite all-time songs. I think it's an unbelievable song, and the thing I've always liked about that song is that you read the lyrics or you hear the lyrics and it feels very almost biblical. Mm-hmm. There's a real sort of, you get this feeling of almost, something going on in, the 1800s or something. It feels very, the way he describes the characters, it feels very like a small town in Wyoming or something. It's very strange. And it's like these little moral stories about, each one's like a little, sort of scenario with something going on where somebody's asked to help somebody else or somebody's asked to do something. And I always thought the moral of the story in a weird kind of way was the golden rule of just do unto others. It's kind of got that kind of feel to it.
Funniest thing is that so many age groups know that song.
Yes.
And they all sing along. Nobody knows what it means. Seriously, it's one of those songs that, it's a form of writing that people just go, I don't know what it means. Man, it's a cool song. Yeah, exactly. So, and the coolest thing, not to, overstep what you might just say next, but the coolest thing was to see Tyler when he wanted to get involved. And he knew the song really well as well. So.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that a little. Although I just want to ask first, how did that song do radio-wise, The Wait?
It went top 10.
Top 10.
I forget that a lot of our songs, aside from Big Wheel, hovered between 6 and 10.
Yeah.
Okay. And, so the story on the Tyler thing, Tyler is Tyler Connolly, who is in the band Theory of a Dead Man. He's a singer. And to make a long story short, there's a version of the song that will be on the re-release, which is really exciting, that Tyler sings on. And you guys were buddies, I guess, or, knew each other and sort of did this. And for reasons that I guess we probably won't get into, just to do with lawyers and record companies and weasels and whatnot, the song didn't end up actually getting released to radio, unfortunately. But you and Tyler did sing it together at the CCMAs.
Yes.
What was that like?
You know what, to be honest with you, I watched the show back, and nothing against any of the other artists, but I felt that was a really cool performance.
Yes.
All in all, it was just one of the neatest things. But the problem is that it wasn't billed the way it should have been, and Tyler definitely should have gotten a lot better billing on that, in my opinion, to have a better impact, have it be more impactful, so that he would have liked to have released it with us, But we just did it on our own after that. But to have, for me anyways, to have Tyler do a vocal on it was just awesome. It sounds so killer with him on it.
He's a great singer.
He is a great singer.
Yes, indeed. The next single would have been...
That was Done You Wrong. That was our last one from this album.
And that did quite well, didn't it?
It did. It hung around in the charts for months and months. I think it was on the chart for almost a year.
Yeah.
And it was on like the top 10 recurrent song chart.
When we released Let's Get Rowdy earlier this year, Done You Wrong was still on the top 70 in Canada. For
Wow.
singles being played.
That's
which
interesting.
is pretty amazing.
And
I
who
mean,
wrote,
that was
who wrote that?
a year and almost a year later, I should say.
Who wrote that one?
Aaron and I and Tim Taylor, another Canadian that lives in Nashville.
Right.
We wrote a lot of songs with Tim on
Yeah, a couple.
the Big Wheel album, rather.
And one of my favorites, You're Not Gonna Miss Me, is it's still one of my favorite songs to play and to listen to. That was one of the
We should start
one of the
playing
first
it
ones I
again.
did. Yeah, we should.
Any other songs on there that you have anything? I mean, just
Driving Song, another Tim Taylor co-write. I
That was-
really love that
It
song.
was fun
Yep.
to write.
It was funny because when we sat down to write, you had just said, I just want to write a driving song. Just wanted to write a driving song, so we wrote Driving Song.
Sometimes titles
we
just
literally wrote Drive
We did.
Song.
And
pop out.
it's such a cool little story. I think the whole album has so many different
Something
stories.
About a Train was fun too. We were in a club in Nashville, Roberts, listening to
Brazil Billy.
Brazil Billy play, and they're just jamming on, like a Bo Diddley kind of groove. And I turned to Aaron and I said, we should like write an instrumental but have some vocals in it. And I said, so many country songs are about a train. You get that kind of train beat going. So we were flying out, I think the next day at about 6, and we went to Tim's house at about noon, and we said, we want to write a song called Something About a Train, and just have, it was just a vehicle for everybody to solo on and stuff, and it was fun. It was just fun to do, and we did it off the cuff in the studio and made some words up, and just everybody had a great time picking away on it.
I guess when it was all said and done, the record sold over 25,000, 30,000 copies, something like that, which, given it was on an indie, is kind of a remarkable little...
Yeah, we're real proud of what that album did.
Up till now, you guys have been not very well represented sort of digitally, which doesn't matter, it's neither here nor there, but how does it feel to finally have this coming out worldwide on iTunes?
It feels great.
Yeah, extremely great.
It's just another avenue to...
We were waiting for the longest time for anything to happen with that album going on iTunes, and obviously to consider this and something going on here. CDs I thought deserved to be on there as well. So now with this coming,
and they will be.
And they will be. But with this coming out, to me is huge. I think it's definitely deserved a better shot than what it's gotten in the last couple of years, and so I can't wait for it to come out.
Especially the remixes. It'll be interesting to see how they do.
Yep.
Hold My Beer has never been on iTunes. So.
And any thoughts on the actual remastering or?
Oh, it's all exciting. I mean, when you can, like I said, we're really proud of that album. We feel that in some ways it didn't get a fair shake at retail and at iTunes. So remastering it and packaging it with these new versions of some songs, classic Aaron Pritchett, it's kind of exciting.
Yep.
And again, nothing against any of the people we've worked with in the
No,
past. I think we just needed to focus a little bit better ourselves, and obviously, us all working together like we are.
Well, it's all progression,
more
right?
focus, yeah.
Kind of take a step, and it's all good. Well, thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having us over.
Well, you're welcome over here anytime.
Well, thank you.
Well, not really, but just call first. I'm
Down.
joking. All right, thanks, guys.
You're welcome.